Don't believe the sweet lies about the Ice Age. In the snowy regions of the Northern Hemisphere, real nightmares were born. They possessed weapons of insane evolution to dominate. Join me as we decipher 13 of the most brutal ghosts below. Would you dare trade your own fangs for a death sentence? 10,000 years ago, nature created a creature so perfect it became extreme. A killing machine armed with 2 blades longer than your forearm. Yet that ultimate weapon was also the very thing that choked it and erased it forever from the planet. Most of what you know about the Ice Age is nothing more than comforting lies. Today, we're not opening textbooks. We're stepping into the shadows of the Pleistocene to decode the most terrifying muscle-driven machine ever to exist. A creature often mistaken as an ancestor of modern tigers, but whose method of killing prey will send chills down your spine. That's just the beginning. Let's decode the 13 most brutal hunters right now. Those 8-inch fangs weren't for show. They were precision weapons of destruction. But the problem was, those fangs were incredibly fragile. If a SMILODON bit into a violently struggling prey, its teeth could break in 2 instantly. At the La Brea tar pits, scientists found more than 162,000 SMILODON bones, representing approximately 1,200 individuals. So, how did it hunt? The answer lies in its muscles. SMILODON didn't bite to suffocate like modern lions. Its jaws could open up to 120 degrees, twice that of a lion, just to deploy its saber-like fangs. It used its incredibly powerful forelimbs and shoulders to pin prey to the ground, locking it down like a professional wrestler. Once the prey was immobilized, it delivered a fatal stab to the throat or abdomen. A deep slash that severed major blood vessels. The prey would die from rapid blood loss. SMILODON was like a guided missile armed with daggers, but the price was extremely high. It was too heavy to chase prey over long distances. It could only stalk and explode in short bursts. When the Ice Age ended, the slow, massive animals disappeared. SMILODON couldn't keep up with fast, agile deer. The perfect design for the Ice Age became its own death sentence. Forget the grizzly bear. The ultimate nightmare of the Ice Age blizzard was Arctodus simus, the giant short-faced bear. Standing 12 feet tall on its hind legs and weighing over a ton, it defied biological limits. Unlike modern bears that lumber around its long legs, turned it into an endurance running machine, capable of chasing prey across entire plains. Archaeological evidence suggests it was a true hypercarnivore. With its overwhelming size, it didn't need to ambush. It could simply walk up and steal kills straight from saber-toothed cats or packs of dire wolves. No creature dared challenge this solitary king except its own kind, but its dietary arrogance led to its downfall. Around 11,000 years ago, when large megafauna disappeared, its food source collapsed. Smaller bears survived by adapting to omnivorous diets. But the ruler, its body was forged too perfectly for meat alone. And that very perfection became a brutal death sentence when the world changed. What do you think about the fate of this king? Could being too perfect at one skill become the greatest weakness when the world changes? Share your thoughts below. Why do the pronghorn antelopes in America today possess an absurd speed of up to 55 miles per hour? That's more than enough to escape a slow-moving pack of wolves. The answer lies in a ghost from the past called MIRACINONYX. Despite its lanky appearance, resembling an African cheetah, DNA has revealed a shocking truth. It wasn't a cheetah at all, but an extreme variant of the mountain lion designed to achieve the necessary speed on the flat savanna. This is a bloody arms race. American cheetahs charge at terrifying speeds of 70 miles per hour to catch prey, forcing the antelope to sprint even faster to survive. But the price of this peak performance is deadly fragility. In exchange for speed, its body sacrifices all other survival skills. Its claws are worn down by friction, rendering it completely useless for climbing or close-quarters combat to protect its food. When a climate change about 10,000 years ago caused dense vegetation to grow, straight running paths were blocked. The top sprinter suddenly found himself crashing headfirst into a tree trunk and being wiped out. It disappeared, leaving the branched horned antelope with unparalleled speed, but useless, much like having to wear a heavy bulletproof vest in a world where guns had never been invented. Long before the cave lion dominated Europe, another specter of terror loomed for 1.5 million years. Panthera gombasoagensis, the European leopard. Its ancestors circumnavigated the Earth via the Bering Continental Bridge to reach South America, but those who remained in Europe were the true warriors who weathered the Ice Age's storms. Looking at its teeth, you'll immediately understand its hunting strategy. Like modern-day jaguars, this monster didn't bite the throat to suffocate. It possessed a terrifying bite force in its jaw muscles, designed to bite through the skull or crush the cervical vertebrae of its prey with a single bite. In a world where prey increasingly evolved thicker skulls for defense, the European jaguar simply smashed through that armor. But tragedy struck when other specialized predators emerged. It wasn't as large as the cave lion, couldn't run as fast as the wolf, and didn't possess sharp fangs. Capable of doing everything but lacking any top-tier skill, this versatile predator watched helplessly as its territory was torn apart. In a cruel world that only revered extreme specialists, the know-it-all was the one destined for death. Polar bears today are the world's largest land predators. But 100,000 years ago, they had a relative known as the tyrant white bear. Its size could be comparable to the giant short-faced bear we've mentioned. Living on the harshest ice edges, this bear doesn't just stalk seals at their breathing holes. With its powerful body and thicker jaws, it dominates the Arctic with sheer strength. It's ready to confront any pack of wolves or any other rival to protect its food. However, as the ice melted and the climate warmed, their oversized bodies became a burden. Smaller, more agile individuals survived and evolved into the polar bears we know today. The tyrannical king disappeared, leaving behind a legacy of resilience in the harshest environments on the planet. SMILODON may be the most famous, but DINOBASTIS was the one who held out until the very end. It was the last surviving saber-toothed tiger in North America. It wasn't as massive as SMILODON, but its legs were longer, and its body was as slender as a cougar. Instead of hunting giant mammoths, it focused on deer and medium-sized prey. This versatility helped it survive for thousands of years, while the other big guys went extinct. But even flexibility has its limits. 10,000 years ago, when forests replaced grasslands and humans began to dominate, DINOBASTIS officially brought an end to the era of saber-toothed cats. A design that had dominated Earth for millions of years finally had to stop in the face of changing times. If SMILODON was a heavyweight fighter, then HOMOTHERIUM was a marathon runner wielding butcher knives. It's known as the scimitar-toothed cat. Its fangs were shorter, flatter, and serrated. Don't underestimate it. This beast ventured into places no other big cat would dare to set foot. Look at the skeleton of HOMOTHERIUM. Its front legs were longer than its hind legs, with a sloping back like a modern hyena. This structure wasn't built for explosive pounces. It was designed for endurance running across vast, freezing tundras. Archaeologists discovered a HOMOTHERIUM den in Yhcum. Inside were piles of baby mammoth bones. This wasn't scavenging. This was an active hunt targeting one of the most dangerous animals on the planet. HOMOTHERIUM used its razor-sharp, serrated teeth to carve deep wounds into the legs or abdomen of young mammoths, then backed off and patiently waited for the prey to collapse from blood loss and shock. Take a modern lion, scale it up by 10%, pack extra muscle onto all 4 limbs, and throw it into the frozen wilderness of Europe. That's the cave lion. Males could weigh over 700 pounds. They ruled the northern world, places where modern lions today wouldn't survive a single week. You picture a male lion with a mane. Wrong. Prehistoric cave paintings show that these lions had no manes at all. It makes perfect sense. A thick mane would trap ice and snow, weighing them down and slowing them. Instead, they had a dense, short, pale coat covering their entire body, perfect camouflage against the snow. Their prey wasn't zebras or antelope. They hunted reindeer, bison, and even young mammoths. To take down these thick-skinned giants, cave lions had to hunt in coordinated groups across open plains. Their greatest enemy wasn't just the brutal climate, it was also our ancestors, humans. Sharp arrowheads have been found right beside the bones of these lions. Sharp arrowheads have been found right beside the bones of these lions. Everyone knows the dire wolf from fantasy films, but the real creature was far stranger and far more tragic. For over a century, scientists believed it was simply a larger version of today's gray wolf. But a few years ago, genetic studies shattered that assumption. The dire wolf wasn't a wolf at all. In 2021, a DNA study found the dire wolf to be a highly divergent lineage when compared with the extant wolf-like canines. And this finding is consistent with the previously proposed taxonomic classification of the dire wolf as genus XENOSMILUS, as proposed by Merriam in 1918. Modern gray wolves are built for endurance, chasing prey over long distances until it collapses from exhaustion. But the dire wolf was different. It was built like a tank, shorter legs, a bulkier frame, weighing between 150 and 200 pounds. Its body proportions were closer to a hyena than a wolf. Its jaws were massive and powerful, designed not just to tear flesh, but to crush the bones of Ice Age megafauna. It wasn't born to chase. It was born to charge and overpower its prey with brute strength and crush it completely. Don't confuse this species with the saber-toothed tiger SMILODON. XENOSMILUS hodgsoni in Florida is playing a completely different game. This monster possesses a pair of fangs that are shorter but thicker and have sharp serrated edges like a steak knife. It wasn't designed for deep stabbing or strangulation. XENOSMILUS attacks like a shark leaping out of the bush, snapping up with a swift bite that tears apart chunks of flesh and blood vessels from its prey, then retreating. You don't need a powerful bite if your weapon is designed for such clean slicing. Living in the dense, swampy environment of Florida a million years ago, XENOSMILUS didn't need to run fast. It just needed patience. A lightning-fast bite that severed an artery was enough to bring its prey down from blood loss in just minutes. When you hear the word hyena, do you immediately think of cowardly scavengers lurking behind lions? Forget that. Ice Age cave hyenas were true warriors. They were bigger, stronger, and a terror to even ancient Neanderthals. Its bite force was unbelievable. It didn't just eat meat, it ate the entire skeleton. Fossils in caves show that it crushed even the hardest feline bones to get to the last drop of marrow, a nutrient that big cats could never reach. In times of food scarcity, this ability to digest even rock was its ticket to survival. Make no mistake, they are active hunters. Evidence shows they organize pack attacks on both horses and bison. Even the bones of cave bears and foxes have been found in their dens. Their message is clear. If there's meat, it's food. No exceptions. The Ice Age was more than just a history of freezing. It was the story of the most perfect killing machines ever built. But history has taught us a bitter lesson. The strongest are not guaranteed to win, and the fastest are not guaranteed to survive. Only those who adapt will survive. Which beast impressed you the most? The 12 feet tall, short-faced bear, or the legendary dire wolf? Leave your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to join us in exploring other mysteries of the prehistoric world. Goodbye.
That same principle applies here. Otodus megalodon was not the stocky, heavy-bodied predator we once imagined. Instead, it was likely far more elongated, more refined. It had a shorter head, a flatter, more compact jaw, long pectoral fins for balance and lift, and a large, powerful tail designed not for bursts of speed, but for sustained, efficient movement.